Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I am Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, I'm excited about this. We are reviewing Chucky, Episode 1, streaming now on USA and SYFY. Oh, Chucky has a TV series. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's on SYFY. This could be awesome, or this could be a disaster. Let's find out which. What we're going to do when we get into it is, well, we'll do that in a second. Let me introduce my crew here, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Hi, my name is Jeffy.
do you want to play? It sounds so awesome.
Good to be here.
Well, I'm not going to say a word because I already did. All right, Crystal is also here. Crystal Cleveland, how you doing?
I'm fabulous.
I
can't
changed up your intro and you totally like, what?
Yeah, I know. I'm good.
As always. All right.
God, so bad.
All right, let's welcome special guest host, award-winning filmmaker Christopher J. Mohr. How you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Let's talk about some dolls.
Dolls.
So I should have. Oh God,
Yeah.
I have like Chucky pajamas I was gonna put on.
Oh, I actually have
wow.
a Chucky doll. I should have brought it.
Yeah. Oh, and I have
didn't
like
think
I got
about
the big Mondo poster from Texas Frightmare, and I got it signed by all of them. I love
Wow.
Chucky. So
Wow. Okay. Cool.
let's hope this didn't disappoint.
All right. Well, this will be very interesting. Of course,
She's so
Jeff,
mysterious.
we understand that Jeffy is the biggest Chucky and Child's Play fan on the planet.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
That's an in joke, which never works on
Yeah.
radio. But hey, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give our first impression of the first episode. And that will be spoiler free. Then we'll dive into a discussion. We will get into spoilers. You can watch this fairly easily. You should watch the show first and then come back and listen to this. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And if you are not, well, what am I saying? What am I saying? We hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you want to help us out, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with a friend. It does wonders for us. And of course, above all, we want to hear your comments down below. What did you think of the first episode of Chucky on SYFY? I still hate the way they spell that. I'm just saying. All right, what are we talking about? We are talking about Chucky, episode 1, season 1, Death by Misadventure. That's a great title. Streaming now on USA and SYFY, and the first episode is available in its entirety and uncut on YouTube. And there's actually 2 versions. There's one that's just the episode, and then another one that has 10 minutes of extras at the end of it. It's very interesting. Yep. It began streaming on October 12th, 2021. I guess in this case, it's actually airing because this is still cable for USA and SYFY, right? I guess. I don't know. What is that? What is cable? All right. It's directed by Don Mancini. Writers is Sarah Acosta and Nick Zigler. The cast includes Zackary, Arthur, Devon, Sawa, Bjorgvin, Arnarson. Oh my, I'm sorry. Alyvia, Alyn, Lynn, Briones, Brad Dourif, and Alex Vincent. The last 2 are vocals only, but you'll recognize them. Synopsis: after a vintage Chucky doll turns up in a suburban yard sale, of course, where else would he be? An idyllic American town is thrown into chaos as a series of horrifying murders begin to expose the town's hypocrisies and secrets. That's more for the series than this episode, but it'll work. All right, let's dive into our first impressions. And Jeffy, sir.
Oh no.
You are up first. So first explain. I ribbed you a bit at the beginning saying you were the Chucky fan, but that is far from the truth. Is that right?
Well, Yes, that's far from the truth.
So, what was your first impression of Chucky? Not like the series, but or the franchise, but experiencing this 45
Yeah,
episode.
I try not to have a preconception, but it was hard. And what I didn't like about it is it seemed to be unnecessarily mean-spirited, and then at the end try to bail out on that by having a clause about where to contact if you're being bullied. Because the people in the school, anyway, I really didn't like hardly any of the characters. There might have been a couple of teachers and maybe one kid. Other than that, I don't know. It's not my thing. It's just not my thing. I wish I could say I liked it, but I don't.
No.
But I don't like Chucky. Maybe the first one. I think maybe I watched the second one. I'm not a big franchise person unless if I have a real good reason to sit down and watch them all, I'll binge them. And that usually gives me a little bit different outlook. Because I didn't even watch past Halloween 3, I don't think, for a long time. Same with Friday the 13th.
What about Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street, I have binged all those.
Okay.
So,
then
but
you're okay.
but I didn't see all of them until
Then you're okay.
I didn't see all of them until the last few years. It's I like to see new stuff, and I like to be scared. And when it's kind of the same trick over and over again, there's got to be something to entice me in. And this one, I just am not. It's got a good setup and all that stuff. I just didn't like the way the kid was treated, and I didn't like all the kids at school. And anyway,
yeah.
I'm sure they're going to get their comeuppance, but
that might be the point.
I totally get it though from his perspective. I think once you hear a little bit more, you might understand it more. Considering Don.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don Mancini. Yep. Maybe.
Yeah.
It is
Maybe.
like if you watch the extras, it's slightly autobiographical.
It's him. It's his life.
Yeah.
But all right, let's keep going. Christopher G. Mohr, what was your first impression of Chucky episode 1?
It's no Motel Hell, but
Yes.
that's right.
Times,
That's right.
I know this is 10 times better than Motel Hell.
If Rory Calhoun was in it, maybe.
Yeah, if he did the voice of Chucky.
Wow, from the grave.
Yeah, I love this, and I think it, I think if you go on the YouTube episode and when they have the little snippet at the very end, where he talks about how he came up. I mean, this is loosely based on how his family and how he's bullied in school and stuff, and kids are like that.
Yeah.
Kids are like that back in my day, and they're just as bad, if not worse, now because of social media. But yeah, I mean, you definitely learn to hate a lot of these side characters, and you feel for the main character, and it still has a sense of humor as well. And there's I loved a lot of the different things that were inspired by other things.
Yes.
There's a scene that's inspired by Halloween. There's a scene that's inspired by magic.
Yes.
Which I'm a huge fan of.
Me too. Oh
The production design in the halls in the school are loosely very shining. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I think even his necklace he wears, isn't it a Leslie Vernon necklace?
Oh,
isn't that the mask from
mask?
It looks like the mask from Leslie Vernon. So yeah, I think it has a lot of interesting things, and I think again, watching this made me realize how crappy, for me, at least in my opinion, how crappy the reboot was.
Oh yeah.
I miss that sort of menacing humor of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that, and to where 1 minute he can crack a joke, and the next minute it's like, oh crap, because when he's just laying there. It's like, oh crap, when he's going to jump or whatever. And also, I mean, they play to I love the sort of the cyclical nature of checking the batteries, which was the famous scene from the original.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think visually they do a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of the cross wipes that they do in like Star Wars. There's a few of those. There's a really some really cool visuals and stuff. There's a really cool overhead shot in the kid's bedroom when his father's getting all mad and stuff. I mean,
Oh my God, it was a good shot.
there's
Yeah.
some really beautiful shots in this for something that has has some elements of a goofy sensibility, but at the same time, I think it also puts a spotlight on a lot of horrible people that are in this world, like how horrible kids are to each other. And I guess you could say maybe that some of these characters are a little bit more characters to some degree. You know, you have the mean girl. You have you have all these other characters that putting down gay people or poor people or whatever. You have the drunk alcoholic father. So you have a lot of these sort of elements that could be somewhat characters. But I don't know. I found this to be really fun. It makes me kind of excited to see where this goes, because I was wondering how you could sort of stretch out some of these stories involving a doll. But because we don't have to get into the major elements of things when it comes to like how Chucky became alive, we already know that. But we also going to get into the background of how, when the killer who got into the Chucky doll, how he was as a kid. So we get into some of those elements, a lot of background stuff. So I don't know. I just found this really interesting, and I love how you have the little Easter eggs to some of the other things, like the voice on the phone, and I think they even point out that there's a character that walks by somebody that's going to be later on. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, I've always loved the Chucky franchise. I mean, I've never had I love how they, with each film, they sort of take it in a different direction, and even though that Chucky is a horrible person, he's actually a little bit more open-minded than some people are, which is kind of weird.
He's like, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, he's okay with that.
We're just friends.
Granted, he'll kill animals and people without flinching, but
I love it.
But yeah, no, and there's a really nice kill towards the end that's kind of cool. A
There
different
is.
way to kill someone. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this. It makes me kind of excited to see where it goes. I mean, it definitely is. It walks that fine line between sort of comedy and drama, because you have some really serious elements that are part of this, but at the same time, it didn't make me shy away from that and understand that, like, there's some really mean people in this world. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yep, witty dialogue. Brad Dourif returns as Charles Lee Ray and the voice of Chucky. Although we don't see him as the actual Charles Lee Ray character.
You do. You see an image of him.
Oh, that's true. You do. You see like a flash
and
over,
you
right?
actually see Alex Vincent too as a child.
Yeah. And you hear him. That was great. Yeah.
Oh, I bet he'll be back.
Yep. Maybe a couple other characters too.
Oh,
All right, Crystal.
Okay,
what
so
was your
I love
first
it.
impression?
No. I got so much to say. Okay, so I thought this was going to be garbage. I was so scared.
Oh my God, did I?
I hated the reboot so much. I never turn off movies in the middle of watching them. I suffer through it, but literally that movie was so bad and that doll was so fugly that I turned the movie off and I never went back. So this was like a breath of fresh air. I feel like it. I love Don Mancini. I love Brad. I love all the original cast, and I love that they made the doll look like Chucky, but even cuter and better. And the movement of the doll here is so fabulous. Like when he has his little fingers, I was like, oh my God, look at the little fingies. He's so cute. Okay, so I have a thing about dolls. It's weird. I don't know why, but I do love dolls and I like creepy dolls. And I feel like this captures a lot of the magic from, the first couple of movies. And I love that so much. I love where the series went even later on. I love like when Fiona came in, of course, Jennifer Tilly. And I still enjoyed that. It just wasn't the same as it was when you had Chucky with, his bond with Alex, his character. And I love that they made instead of it being a little boy, it's a teenager. And I think that the whole point here is where they're going to go is, one of the songs that they're singing is this is how what is it? This is how villains are made, or this is how something like that. And I think that's what the point is. I think they're going to show, little Charles growing up and how he became this psychopath, and then maybe that's what he's going to groom the little dude. That kid is precious, by the way. Oh my God, the lead actor is so cute. I love the cast. I can't wait for the next episode. I don't have sci-fi, but this could make me get it because I liked it that much. I'm so thrilled that it went back to basics, and I love that they made the main character gay and that it is based on his own life and his own experiences. And, I totally related to the boy. I mean, when I saw, when you go into his room and you see the doll heads and all that, I was like, yes, yes, he's such a weird kid. I love him. I think his mind is so beautiful, and his father is...
He's broken. He's broken.
Yeah,
broken
so
man.
broken. Yeah. And he just, good riddance to bad rubbish, I'm really, really excited to see where this goes. I know, based on what we've seen, that we're gonna have a lot of cameos, at least cameos. And oh God, the cop is already kind of like looking out for him. I don't know. I think this could be super exciting. And I think everyone should check it out. I mean, the episode is free. Watch the first episode. I think if people like Chucky, I think they will love this series.
Yeah, especially if you like the tone of the last few Chuckies, where Don Mancini started taking full reins on it. And yeah, definitely. Okay, so I was in your boat, Crystal. I was like, this is going to be utter garbage. Do we even get near it? Does it, And I was so surprised how much I really liked this. It really just hit. I love the character, our lead character. I liked the conflicts he has with, his friends. He even says, my experience is friends come and go, right? Our friend, and it just puts him in this really place that I think a lot of people can identify with. And Jeff, I did feel like everybody, it's heavy-handed in the bullying theme. And the only thing that, for me, that salvaged that, Jeff, was that the podcast kid that he likes, mentioned that he wanted to have him on the podcast because, bullying is a crime as well. And I think that's the only redeeming part of having so much in there. But because there could have been, if you wanted to round it out a little bit more, they could have had a couple more, characters that weren't so shitty. but I don't, you ain't got so much time, right? Because I'm sure this isn't the only part of the story that we're going to get. It's going to involve past, our characters here. Now, for those who may not know, Child's Play and Chucky are the same character but two different IPs. MGM owns Child's Play with a doll that's named Chucky. Don Mancini owns Chucky the doll and can make Chucky movies and TV shows. So that's why we had the remake year or two back, and then Buddy. They called him Buddy, right?
Yes,
and then we have Chucky here. So I've really enjoyed the past two films, Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky.
I loved Cult. I love Fiona.
Yes,
man,
she is so.
She's good.
And of course, Bride of Chucky is still my favorite of the entire series.
Well,
and then the first one is close second. But I love it when I really enjoyed it when it took that the more comedic, but yet still, serial killer, tone. That you know where I'm going with that. So, see the Chucky is a little bit off, but we'll give, you gotta, if you're exploring your realms, you gotta see what works. Again, back to the show. I really enjoyed it. I loved our lead characters. I loved all the hints and nods, either visually or some are verbally, in the dialogue and stuff like that. It knows what it is without throwing it in your face at the same time. And it had, I never thought Chucky would kill in the way he kills in this particular show. And
I loved it.
I watched it twice because the first time I was like, how does that even work? And it took me the second time to figure it out. And I didn't quite catch it because I was like, where did he get all the water? He didn't.
He's like, who drank my whiskey?
That's right. I didn't catch that the first time around. So, but it was, oh my God, just the face alone.
Oh my God, that angry.
It's just so amazing. So yeah, I absolutely, this absolutely won me over, and I'm on board for all 10 episodes. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. I'm almost embarrassed.
I will say, I don't know if they're doing something different. I really like how they're animating Chucky.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like,
he feels
cool.
more. I don't know if realistic is the right way, but his movement is much different. I do love the little face now. He does his little face,
and it looks like it's actually like real plastic that's being kind of bent. It's really cool.
And how they, I don't know if they did that. I can't remember if they did it in other movies, but with the dilation.
I've never saw the dilation before. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have they do the movement of the eyes and different things, and so I know that's always. I mean, I guess the great part is knowing that all this stuff is practical. They're still doing this stuff practically, because I think that's what made the original films work so well, is because of the practicality of it. But yeah, I love the movement. It's it just makes that performance. It just brings a Dourif's voice to life by the way they move it and how they have it move around. I mean, I I think one of my favorite moments is when the cats and you're waiting like, oh, he's gonna smack the shit out of that cat, and then I mean, things like that. I just love that. I mean, I guess that's the thing. It's almost like, I don't want to compare it to Jaws, but it's almost like when he's just frozen, it's almost like that water. You don't know, waiting for Jaws to attack, and then when he does, you're just like, oh. But yeah, I love that. I love that aspect of it. I mean, I think when your main villain character is a practical effect, you got to pull it off. And I think the puppeteers, the people who are making this work, they're making it happen. I will say, I kind of, just to go into Jeff's mindset, I do wish they had more characters that were caring in this world, because
somebody need to be a little more sympathetic.
Because I think that's always been my problem with movies, that like when we got into the 90s and stuff in 2000s, when you have like slashers, it's like all of the people are just mean spirited, and so you're waiting for Jason to come dispatch them. And I think that's the only thing. And maybe it's one of these things to where maybe there's an arc for some of these characters where they're not as asshole-ish as they are.
Well, because I think the cousin has some room to grow, because he did say to her, he's like, why don't you just lay off him? So I think he could wind up.
Well, he's manipulated by her, because she's just like a very manipulative, entitled little girl.
Very much so.
And you just want to smack the shit out of
her. The science teacher, and apparently I don't know if the other woman is the principal, they seem to be principled people that aren't being
I do love him
by money and that kind of stuff.
So. Well, I do love the teacher. I think she's probably the one of the more she's probably the main sympathetic person in this universe. But I think one part made me laugh.
Up, Oliver.
I know when she said that, I laughed so loud, because you probably can't get that away with that now in schools, because people are offended by everything. But I was like, man, I wish teachers were like that nowadays. You could probably done that in the 80s. I had teachers who would say, what the shit you doing? They would curse, but yeah, that made me laugh, because and then she cursed again, I think a little bit later. I was like, damn, I like this teacher. I wish we had more teachers like this. And I hope she's not going to
I know.
That'd be one of these deaths where it's like, I hope she doesn't get killed off, because I like her character so much.
So when I like Chucky the most is when he doesn't just go and kill everyone just to kill everyone. I like when he's acting like this. Like, he's like, okay, well, that's my dude. So we're buds. Okay, so we're gonna be bros. So you're okay for
Friends
now.
till the
For
end.
now, yeah. And he didn't kill, the aunt. I guess I guess that would have been poor timing. But like, I like when he makes tactical choices. He could have killed the teacher.
Mhm.
He was in the locker with her, and I'm sure he had access to her. So he didn't do. I hope that I like him when he's a little redeemable.
Yeah, I like when he messes with people too. Like when he gets in front of the door in the classroom when the girl's not looking at it, and she's like,
Okay, but wait, when he's at the ventriloquist, and he goes, "Boo!"
"Oh my god!"
That was awesome because she's already afraid of him.
Well, see, I think that's what I like about him. He's a big jokester. He likes playing.
Yeah.
He likes fucking with people.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about that character. Where he doesn't necessarily have to be just Jason and kill someone for the sake of killing him. But he likes to play with his food before he eats it, He just has a little bit of fun. And I love that aspect of that jokester aspect where he can sort of manipulate people, get people to do his bidding or do this or that, or just mess with people, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, my worry is if it does one of these things, if he does, I hope he doesn't turn the main kid into a killer.
He's grooming him.
We
He's
don't
absolutely
want,
grooming
yeah,
him.
but that also goes into territories where you don't want like some kind of kid killer in a school type scenario, which I'm kind of concerned about. But at the same time, this is also can play out like just because you're the creepy kid doesn't mean that you're going to be the person that I'm sure at some point he might be framed for killing people because of what Chucky does. So just because he's the kooky, creepy, gay kid doesn't mean he'd be the first to be this killer in this scenario. So maybe that's one of those things where he doesn't fulfill the representation of what that type of person they automatically assume would be.
Well, Chucky already knows he's not going to be the one doing the killing because he had to do the dissection anyway. Like that kid, kid can't handle blood.
Well, but at the same time, I think he may give him more of a spine to fight back at people, and I think that's where he almost becomes the sort of the demented Jiminy Cricket, where he's like, "Hey," I mean, we see kind of some stuff in the trailer where he's messes with that little girl too, who likes that
So
Chucky's.
let's talk about her. I can't believe how giddy I am over this. I'm really.
Did you like Lexi or you despise Lexi?
Oh, I love to hate her. She's a horrible person. But I love that he's got an enemy. I mean, I hope he kind of messes with her.
Well, the girl's little sister.
Oh, and she was so happy.
That's going to be the person that messes.
And the mom watching the little girl was so happy. That was a weird thing.
That was
because
there's something going on there that we're going
to another part that made me laugh is when they put the spotlight on her little sister, and her sister's like, she's got this grumpy face that made me laugh because I was like, some kids are like that. It's like, but she was smiling because the comeuppance that happened towards her sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Chucky's going to find that as a reason to sort of mess with her too through her sister, because we do see in some trailers where he's getting a little girl to do things.
The shoes. There's a good gag coming up. Okay, so they do have a challenge of keeping it fresh, right? Because not only are we going to get Chucky from one movie to the next and try not to be repetitive, now we got to do it every episode, right? We can't be Chucky killing one character a week.
I bet you they're gonna have Alex come back. Like, of course. The next thing is, okay, so Alex knows he has Chucky. I don't know what kind of call or whatever he got, but the next thing to do would be, well, obviously bring these. That's what they're going to start doing, bringing these kids, because he's going to want to try to get Chucky. Jennifer Tilly is going to want to try to get Chucky.
Yep. And supposedly she has a cameo in this first episode.
In this first episode?
Yes.
She walks by in a red outfit at the garage sale.
Garage sale. Yep.
I missed it.
I didn't catch it until I watched.
You just see the back. You don't really notice it. I think was that in the
thing at the end.
Snippet at the end. They talk about it. He mentions.
Oh my god! how did oh.
Because I guess that's also how they explain that why
Chucky's there.
why we have the Chucky there is
Of
supposedly his
course, she
soul's been
brought
split
it.
up. His soul's been split up, I guess, into different. Can be split up or it can be
Well, Fiona has
split
part
to
of
different dolls.
Chucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you spoilers for the end of
Sorry.
the Cult of Chucky. No. If you guys haven't seen the Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, I think those are required viewing.
It's fabulous.
Before you get too far into the series.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the first one, not for the first episode, but from what I gather going in. And of course, they're bringing back, there's other characters that potentially are going to show up too. So I think we should end here because we can keep talking.
We've been talking almost as long as
I know
the episode.
it's 45 minutes. So
And Jeff's like, I don't have anything to say.
I know, Jeff's been told that one.
Jeff, I'm
I'm listening. I'm listening.
yeah.
But let's go ahead and give our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. And that means Jeffy is up first. Did we change your mind, sir?
Well, so here, what happens is that a premise doesn't appeal to me. So that's what I like. That's why I like doing the old like decades of horror stuff, because it gets me to watch movies that for some reason or another didn't appeal to me, and then I find out they're good movies. So I could do that with this too. So we'll talk offline about which ones I should watch and maybe skip. I can see that this is well made, but again, at this point, it just didn't appeal to me. I did like the kid. I didn't get the father at all because he starts off kind of a little more accepting, and I guess maybe it's when things don't go his way and he's under pressure and he's drunk that he goes nuts on the sculpture. So and to the kid. So I will probably keep watching this based on your guys' enthusiasm and try to educate myself. But at this point, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Because... better than I thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's well made. It's well acted.
Mm-hmm.
The people you're supposed to hate, you hate. I'm not going to say I didn't smile. And so favorite scene, since I'm going first, I'm taking the ventriloquist act on the
you bum. You big bum.
So that I liked. So
oh man, I did too. There's a particular Crystal mentioned the actual specific element of that I love the most. All right, let's keep going, and that means what? Christopher, you're up next. You're up next, sir. Final thoughts, score, favorite scene.
Yeah, I love this. I think it's I guess I'm totally wrong. I'm totally wrong in that there aren't other sympathetic characters, because we do have the crime podcaster kid that he's in. So we do have that, which I do love that angle too. Which, as podcasters like us, sometimes they have podcasters and podcaster characters, and they're just more of a character. And that seemed like a kid who might actually be a podcaster. So I thought that was a good angle. And I'm sure that I'll tie into later when they're trying to find out about Chucky. So it's always good to have that kind of character.
Got the right character to find out.
You have a character who has that knowledge base, like the character in Scream that knows all about horror films. So that'll probably be helpful later. But yeah, I love this. And I was a little bit concerned. I think a lot of times when we see movies turned into TV shows, they kind of lose the essence of what the movies were about, or they're just not the same, or where they try something crazy, like, what's it, the Freddy TV show, Freddy's Nightmares, or it doesn't feel like it's got the same vibe, but
they can strike home runs. Look at Hannibal.
Well, no. But I was about to say, but you can do a good job with it. I know that you like the Exorcist TV show, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's ways that you can turn it into like a TV show, and when you have the people that were a big part of the movies and and they have a part in the TV show, then you see that. When they don't have as much of it, that's why you get the reboot. And you just get a big steaming pile of Chucky poop.
That's
but
being
yeah,
nice.
that is nice. I really did not like that film at all. And I feel bad because Mark Hamill is the
Yeah.
voice.
He did a good job. Yeah, I liked him as the voice.
I thought he did a good job, but again,
He couldn't save it.
No, he couldn't save it.
they took the personality out of what made the films and everything good. But this, I think it taps into that. Yeah, it falls into sort of the category of like, mean kids, kind of like a mean version of the Breakfast Club to some degree. It has that. It's kind of like a asshole John Hughes show, but yet I think it brought back the Chucky that I love, that I love to hate, and that's what makes him a little bit different than a lot of other things, because he's like Freddy. He has a personality, and he has has means to an end. He has reasons he does certain things, and he's very manipulative, and he waits to strike. He waits for that right moment. I love that aspect of it. But then you also have the humor aspect of it. I think even though we have characters and more characters, they still have elements that sort of make you understand this character who's supposed to be an embodiment of what Don Mancini had to deal with when he was a kid, when he was a gay kid growing up, and his I guess his dad was against him and kids made fun of him. And, as somebody that grew up in high school in the 80s, I remember that it was a very, it was almost like a popular thing, I mean, you have movies where they made fun of the gay characters. And so it was kind of sad that was part of the culture, But I think this has some good elements. I think this has that sort of Scream element when it comes to like, teenagers or whatever. It has that element, but it also has that kind of fun element that doesn't take itself too seriously in elements, but in the other parts it take itself a little bit seriously when it comes to the bullying stuff, or because you feel really uncomfortable when his cousins keeps pointing out like he's gay and stuff. It's like, dude, you just want to punch that little kid in his kisser. But then you have other parts that just make you laugh, like every time the teacher talked, putting that girl in her place. I just like, yeah, do that. I wish teachers could talk like that to the kids, but you couldn't because you'd probably be fired. But yeah, overall, I loved it. I will.
Come on.
You can do it.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
You know what? I will give this the 4.25 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
I really thoroughly enjoyed this. And again, I was a little bit wary and worried. I think it probably would have gotten higher. I think if there were just moments where it just felt like the character aspect of it as opposed to full-fledged characters, but I see what he's going for. And so, but I think, the power of Chucky and stuff sort of rises it above that.
The power of Chucky compels.
And I'm also interested to see how these characters, how they might change over the series. And I think that's going to be the more interesting thing, how maybe some of these asshole characters aren't as assholish because they realize the error of their ways, and maybe that that error of their ways is going to get them killed. But as for favorite scene, I might be still in Doc's Thunder, but I like the electricity kill.
Nice.
The whiskey vomit.
It's such a different way that we've never seen anybody to be electrocuted. Because then it's one of those things to where not only did you mess with the character by stealing their alcohol, but then you utilize that alcohol to kill them.
I loved it.
Damn, that's a twist. And then just the way he's on. I'm going to make a Star Wars, thing. But when he's looking and you see like the flashing of the lights, that he's just looking, it's almost like Darth Vader, except he's happy that he's being electrocuted, as opposed to the Emperor, like as opposed to Darth Vader, like, don't electrocute my son. So yeah, I love that. I love all the, I love all the little different horror references, which I'm assuming will probably supposedly there's an Exorcist reference later on in the season. So,
Oh.
but yeah, that's probably
Oh, the vomit
my.
scene wasn't one.
Oh, wait a
that's
minute. Maybe
fair.
that was it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well.
Okay, I guess that's what he meant by Exorcist. Okay,
Yeah.
we can edit this out of the video.
No, we're not.
And that was the Exorcist thing. What was I thinking? Duh.
Yeah.
But I just thought,
missed it too.
that's something that we've never seen a killer do before, and only
was
Chucky
totally
could do
taken
that.
by
And I
surprise,
think
yeah.
that inventiveness with that kill is one of the standout reasons why it makes me want to see what the other messed up ways is he going to kill people.
So
and
funny.
I definitely want to see the teacher to curse more to her students. Please.
Yes, more cursing. Base Motel is another show that really did a good TV version of
Oh yeah, they
IP.
did.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, Crystal, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
Obviously, I loved it, and I think you should watch it. And I can't obviously judge the whole series, but this first episode is super compelling, and so I'm actually going to give it a 4.5.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I don't think you realize how much. I mean, Chucky only just slightly comes in under Freddy. Freddy is always going to edge out Chucky, but when Chucky's on, I love him. I love him. So yeah. If they keep this up the whole series, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. I'll let's do it. GoFundMe for season 2.
Yes,
Seriously.
yes. Oh my God, that'd be a great thing if
Yeah. I'm so good. But
Crowdfunding.
my favorite scene. Oh boy. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of scenes I really like. Oh. I want to say no, it's not the. It's not the. No, okay, so it's just gonna be something stupid. I don't know. There's a lot I liked, but for some reason this made me chuckle. She's like, I really need to stop smoking so much weed before class. And that made me laugh. And I was like, oh, right in front of the and they're like, yeah, you do. You bad girl, you.
You bad girl.
It's like, okay.
Good dialogue in this show.
Yeah.
I'll just, I absolutely love this too. I did not expect to. I was taken aback about how much I actually enjoyed this. It's so well directed. There are shots in here that are well above what you expect on anything on TV, on cable at this point. Not
Especially
like HBO,
sci-fi.
but sci-fi,
Especially
right?
sci-fi.
Sci-fi, USA. There's a shot. There's one shot that comes to my mind when he is told to go to his room. He's real mad at his dad, and he just comes right up to the camera when he goes into the room, and it stays in focus and everything. It's just a great shot, and it has power and meaning just from the position of the camera and the character coming up to it. Oh man, it was really good, and it actually, for me, had some emotion to it when his father is going after this sculpture that he's been working on.
Yeah.
I just felt it. I was like, oh my God, he's like, he doesn't realize what he's doing at the father. The father doesn't see it, doesn't get it, and
he does get it. He doesn't.
No, well,
care.
he doesn't get what it means to the son. He
he
sees it
does.
as you think. Okay.
Yeah. Don't ever discount an abuser that they don't understand what they're doing, because that makes them seem like less of an abuser.
Okay.
No, don't ever
Okay.
do that,
But
because he is a piece of poop.
He's definitely a broken man, and it kind of oddly makes, or maybe that was their intention, it makes Chucky a sympathetic bad guy in this particular episode.
That's what I love. Yes.
So it's like, what do you think I was going to do? Get my hug? It was great. But that, so the point was it had emotion, and our lead actress has such has such an expressive face. Early, he goes onto the bus and he sits behind the podcaster and he just has this wonderful look on his face, this smile before his cousin comes in and sits down, and his expression, the change in his face, subtle change, says so much. It was really well done.
And you know that kid is actually like 14 or something. I can't believe how good he is.
And same with all the four main kids are all really good.
They're all age appropriate for their roles.
Even though they don't look 14 the way I remember
but he
14,
is.
but
they're not like 14-year-olds from there.
Yeah, like Alyvia, Alyn, I was like, why is this? There's a 20-year-old playing she's actually 14. I'm like,
yep, they're actually their ages.
What?
Yeah.
And I think all of them do a great job. All four of them, even though Tio doesn't get as much. Really, I mean, he gets one note here, but he plays it really well, and I feel like there's more to it. He gets just enough to hint that there's more to him. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because I said I wasn't going to do what I just did.
Can I ask you a question after you're done?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 as well. I was going to talk myself into going up. I'm so excited about seeing the next 9 episodes because I know that the characters I want to see are coming, but I actually love it now without them. So,
Yay!
Wow. I didn't expect that. Did I do a favorite scene? I haven't done a favorite scene yet, have I? Can I just? Okay, it's a comedic moment, but Chucky bitch slaps Jake.
Yes.
and it's just so hilarious. So I mean, funny, he knocks him to the floor, just bitch slaps him. And it's done in a very comedic
way. Yeah. It's like man up.
Yeah, man exactly. It's not mean. It's not even it's not mean spirited. Although it's physically violent, but it's just this like you said, man. I'm like, I don't know why.
He's like, what did you think? We did this, dude. This was a joint effort. We're compadres. This is how it is. Okay, so my question was, do you think that the uncle is redeemable? Because I feel like the uncle is sympathetic.
I don't know enough from him yet.
Because he seemed sympathetic at the table. He's like, it's not a big deal. It's like being left-handed. Like he was trying to play it off. But
I think the scene that makes it more like what you're suggesting is when he comes after the father dies and the way Jake reacts. Because his whole demeanor changes when his uncle shows up. And he gives him that hug, and then he's entirely different at that point.
He does seem like he loves his uncle. I'm really interested to see how this dynamic is going to work out because we know there's something up with the aunt.
Yep. And we got the detectives. The detectives are
that are detecting him.
Yes, and actually being pretty smart about it for a TV show. I thought, like, how did you get that bloody nose? Oh, I fell down. Oh yeah, okay. It's like
is the one detective.
Yeah,
is the one detective the mom of the kid that he's interested
podcaster.
in?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God.
She just looks different because she puts her hair.
So many levels here.
Yep.
So many levels.
So, but my particular scene that I really loved was the boo. Just the boo itself was so hilarious. She comes up to him and he just goes boo, and she like leaps back. It was the timing on that was so wonderful.
I think, and also. Isn't it kind of funny that this audience of parents and kids are just like, other people on stage.
Yes.
Bravo.
That just shows how
everybody's cheering, even when they're walking him off the stage and he's yelling, "Go fuck yourself!"
Fuck yourself. Yeah.
I know.
Well,
brilliant school talent show.
But when she calls him out, like some dude is like, loser. I mean, come on, like what? So they let that kind of loser, how they always talk. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great that homage to magic. It's a great little bit there.
Facts.
All right. We officially talked longer about the episode than the episode actually is. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Crystal, Christopher, and Jeffy. Thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us. It was fun.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Thanks for allowing me to play.
Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Magic is fun.
Magic
is fun.
Oh.
When you're dead.
Ah! Good night.